Okay. My mic already, but I entered the store thinking it was gonna close at 8, but it closed at 6:30. The door was still open though, and but the lights were off, right? So I'm just walking in thinking that the lights just were not working. And the guy thinks I'm actually an intruder and scares the shit out of me. So I think I scared the shit out of him. So yeah, I'll be picking up the mic tomorrow, and then we should have even better audio. But I think the audio has been good lately. I just got back from the gym and I took 300 milligrams of caffeine, and the pump was in insane. It's like this pre-workout, but my heart is still my heart is still pounding. So I'm trying to calm down, you know. But what a trading day, guys! It's like these are the days that we are here for, you know, like entry models everywhere, like everywhere. So I don't want to make this video too long. I want to make it short and compact. But first, let's go over this Euro trade because what a analysis from this morning, guys. It was, if you have not watched the stream from this morning, I went over this Euro setup. I think it was actually the last 4 minutes of the previous YouTube video. So one post before this one, I went over this setup. I think I also actually clipped it on my Twitter. So if you want to see the proof of me talking about this setup before it happened, definitely watch that video. But first, let's just get straight into it. I cannot even speak. I'm still my my heart is still pounding. Okay, calm down. So from this morning, right? Going back, deleting this, putting this demand in. I actually changed my supply zone for you guys so you guys can see it better. Because the purple one, a few people said they couldn't see the purple one if they put it on the TV. So I changed it to a more darker red, more bright. Okay, from this morning, right? I was telling you guys about, okay, I either want a Model 2 long from here, fixing that weekly candle, which was right here. So fixing this candle, getting along from here or here. And I said I prefer the Model 1, but if we get a structure change, I will look for a Model 2 long as well. Okay. But what I also told you guys is that I was looking for a retrace short as well to take it towards that weekly low and that range demand. It's all in the stream from this morning. Okay, so you can go and watch that back. But I was also watching for a continuation short down. And what actually happened is, so we SFP'd, so we took that range low, right? And we had that market structure up. I also discussed this in the morning stream, but just to go over it real quick, we actually broke market structure right here. Put it in the chart. Okay. And what I was saying is I was looking at this area to potentially have a retrace short towards that weekly low. Okay. And what I want to see for that retrace short is, of course, internal market structure from the low up breaking back to bearish, because this will confirm that we're going to go back towards this low, and then what's there from stopping price from not taking the weekly low. Okay, so this was the general idea, and we can also put the market structure high in on the 5 and the 10 minute. And what I can immediately tell you guys is, when you have range supply where you have liquidity looking like this in the upper section of the range supply, it's either going to say, or it's either going to give you two things. It's going to be a tap and go, or it's going to potentially SFP the supply zone. When you have liquidity or a return to zone within your range supply, it's either going to be a tap and go, breaking structure, or it's going to tap and then come back inside and potentially SFP it. Okay? Those are always the two scenarios if you have a range supply that has liquidity within the range supply. Okay, so looking for that retrace short to take towards that weekly low, we can continue playing it. And as you can see, I'm waiting for structure to break. However, our market structure low to break is right here. Okay, so that there's nothing yet. We go lower, and then boom, we take this high. So now our new low is here. Okay, delete this one, waiting for this to break. Just being patient. And now we go higher, and now our new high is right here. And we actually went through the supply zone. So as I said, it's either going to be a tap and go, or we're going to get like acceptance within the range supply. And because we have that return to zone right here, we're going to SFP it and then potentially come down. So there's no reason to just short right here. It's very laggy, but there was no reason to short right here and put your stop above there, because you guys know, especially if you break market structure back to bullish to get there, I want to see it break back to bearish again. Okay, so now let's get rid of this, and we can actually say that we swept these highs, SFP'd it. Here, if you go on the 5-minute, we SFP'd it, and now we're waiting for our internal market structure to break back to bearish. Okay, and what happened right here, we get our market structure break. And now we're going to think, okay, you know what? Let's see if I enter on this break and I put my stop towards the low or towards the high, above the high, and we target the low right here, which is kind of the max target. It's only a 1.96. Okay, so you can start scaling in here, but as we can see, we have a clear looking retest zone right here, which is these kind of like last pullback candles before taking that and then dumping. So clearly buyers stepped in here and sellers took over, okay? And they broke market structure bearish. So what can we expect if we broke market structure bearish and we come back towards this range supply, potentially a lower high for a lower low? And in this situation, you don't need internal market structure again to confirm your entry. But if you have it, wait for it. If you don't have it, you can still try to short, but if you have it, wait for it, okay? Because it's just going to be a double reconfirmation. So remember that if you have it, wait for it. But at this moment in time, it's looking really juicy. You know, you have your break here. You swept these highs. Seller stepped in, broke market structure. So I'm definitely going to look for a short right here with our stop above the high. And now if we take it towards the range low, we're already in a 3.7 RR risk to reward range, which is way better than that 1.96 we had before. So let's see what price does. Price comes up, gets a rejection, takes the high again. So now we have internal market structure to wait for, right? You can also enter on the first rejection candles that you see right here, because at this point in time, you don't know if you're going to get that higher high creating an internal market structure leg. But you can start scaling in right here. So you already scaled in some here. You scaled in some more right here with your stop above here. However, now we have internal market structure. So what happens is, let's say we break this, you can move your stop loss towards that high because that's going to be the lower high. The internal market structure break confirms that this is going to be the lower high. So now you can recalculate your position size and add the remainder. Okay. Let's see what happened. We went again a bit higher, moving your internal market structure up towards there, trying to break that low, but it's not breaking it yet. Boom. And there you have your break. Okay. I would say right on this candle is your confirmed break. Put your stop above the internal high, recalculate your position size if you were already in from here, here, and then again here. So recalculate the position size with a stop right above that high, and then you run it towards the low. The moment you create this market structure leg right here, boom. If we take this low, I'm de-risking myself. Boom, we took the low. Now my stop goes to entry because we have to break back the bullish in order to get there, and there's not really any supply remaining. So why would price go higher? We took out the weekly low, there's your TP, and we actually ended up hitting that range demand as well. Very easy trade. I personally did not take this because I was focused on gold, and I'm trying to focus a bit more on gold. Um, but this is definitely a valid setup. And if I was paying attention, I definitely would have taken it because you can look at it that the order flow objective of the move was to sweep all this like Asia liquidity and then potentially form that model too, right? Because the bias, like locally, the bias was still a bit bearish because that weekly candle needed to be fixed. But once we fix it, now we can switch it to bullish. And I said in the stream from this morning that a market structure break is probably not going to be enough, like a single break. Um, and I want to see some more. I think I said something about the demand chain or a reconfirmation. However, what actually happened is we came down, fixed that weekly candle. Okay, so now let's get rid of that. And here was our market structure high. What actually happened is when we tried to break it, we SFP'd it the first time, I think. Oh no, yeah. So we SFP'd it right here. If I switch to the 10-minute, we were forming a nice low. And single breaks with a nice low in an important POI were pretty good. So just because that 1 minute was backed by this nice low, you know, where you have your downwards candle, you sweep it, close higher, back test, and then close higher again. That 10-minute candle, just because that was forming a nice low, tapping into that demand, sweeping all of this liquidity, I gave it a shot. Okay, so entry right here, because this is when I clearly saw price surpassing this market structure high. And just because this happened, or just because we SFP'd it, but we immediately start um, closing candles at the same price level and then go higher, I don't really extend my market structure high towards that wick high. I just extend it like this. But right here, I clearly saw price breaking it, put my stop below the low, and then the plan is to take it all the way up towards this high, see what happens there, and then potentially take it all the way up towards that massive imbalance on our left right here. So I have not taken profit at all on this trade. It's still up and running, but I'm really trying to follow my rules here and the plan. So we're up pretty goddamn good. So we were just holding it, and then what happened is we created another market structure leg. So we had our we had our market structure break right here. Entry, stop below the low, create another very broad market structure leg and market structure pool. So now our stop loss goes from this low underneath that low, and we're chilling with this stop loss in profit. And then gold or euro didn't really do anything the rest of the day. So yeah, and which is also nice looking back. Actually, I didn't pay attention to this when the trade happened. Is the timing of the trade, right? So right here on this candle, the New York opened and we went down and then went up. So that's kind of a nice like manipulation. New York grabbing these last lows before breaking market structure back to bullish and then going higher. So deleting replay mode on euro, we're kind of ranging right now, and the trade is still up and running. And I will also look at this supply zone just because we have that range high and it could be turning into a bigger distribution. I do. We have one problem on this swing play, and it's that we actually have news, which is very annoying. We have a lot of news this week, like a lot. We have like Tuesday red folders, Wednesday I think like FOMC and consumer consumer something. So yeah, there's a lot of news, so I don't know if I can hold it because I'm scared we're gonna have crazy wicks and the spread is just gonna be insane and liquidate the position. So I have to reanalyze where we are tomorrow morning and see if I can hold the trade just because of the news, right? So yeah, that was Euro. Absolutely beauty. Like the pre-planning was just insane. The pre-planning was insane on this long. I hope some of you maybe catched it or made some money on it. But yeah, that's Euro. On gold, I actually gave you guys two zones to watch, which was give you guys two zones to watch, which was this 3 minute one. It's all in the stream again, which is this 3 minute order block, which was kind of had that confluence with that volume area high deviation, and this 10 minute block. And both gave very significant rejections. However, if you just look closely at the way we came down, um, tapping into that resistance on both plays right here, we had zero market structure. So we tapped it and we created a lower high, not giving us any market structure until here. The same way we went up right here and it gave us that lower high, not having market structure until way down there. So even though we got some nice rejections and moves from our POIs, I did not get any entry or any trades on gold today. We also came lower, and then SFP hit some demand, but also the way we came lower, our market structure high is a lower high, lower low, and we broke market structure all the way over there, right? So there wasn't really a trade that was risk to reward worthy for me on gold. So no trades on gold, but it's nice to see the POIs working. And we're kind of stuck between this range, which is looking like an accumulation, but it could also easily be a distribution, right? Where this was your Model 2 that hit its target and it's turning into like a bigger one, or this is like the LPSY. Kind of stuck between these 2 points. So I'm just gonna trade the local plays and see on which side is gonna break out eventually, right? Then over to our beauty Bitcoin. Bitcoin. It was absolutely lovely, the price action on Bitcoin. It's like we live, we wait for these days to happen, and then we absolutely execute, right? And this morning I told you like, yo, this is our local range, and the hope for the bulls was going to be that this potential local range could be the third tap of this bigger Wyckoff Model 1, right? And we had that confluence with the volume area low, which is what we were discussing this morning in the stream. So if we're going to bounce, we're going to bounce from this volume area low because there's nothing remaining underneath that val from a demand perspective, right? And I really like the way our volume area is looking. Kind of has a nice distribution shape. So when it has a nice distribution shape like this, where the volume is spread out over the range, the volume area high and the volume area low deviations oftentimes give very nice plays. So if or very nice trades. So yeah, we were watching this local range, right? And what happened is that if we just go a bit more back, we kind of had that tiny Model 2, which gave us no entry because the candles were just shit, as I described this morning. The volatility in here is absolute trash. But we came up, so let's say we had our Model 2 here. Technical target of the Model 2 is that range high, which we hit. Now this could be turning into a potentially Model 1, right? So what I was looking at is trading this as a Model 1 and then waiting for that fractal break like we always do, which is going to confirm our short entry. The only thing that bothered me was that these highs were so close. And if you just zoom out, it's low-key just one high. Okay? It's literally just one high. So I was like, yeah, I can short this, and then we can potentially sweep this liquidity right here, and then probably mitigate some demand that's remaining down there, like this. So like we could get around to here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we come back and take the high once again, especially because we have even more liquidity remaining above us. I think this one mitigated until here, so maybe tap that, like take these highs, and then create a bigger model one. Just because on the 10-minute or the 15-minute, this is just one high, this is just one tap. So if you have these local plays within a bigger range, um, be aware that this model one could also just be a second tap of a bigger model. Okay, so instead of shorting Bitcoin, I looked at Matic and Sol if they had a more clear setup and potentially could get a more aggressive move. So in this situation, I actually managed to get into a Matic trade, which I posted. And this is the same time the Bitcoin deviation happened. What happened on Matic is that we were having a range. This was a range high. This is a range low. Okay. We swept the range high and we actually came right here. Just like this. And just like that. So right here, the same time Bitcoin broke market structure in this model, the potentially tiny model one, which was at 1239, Matic at 1239 was already a bit lower, but it was looking like it was going to have a model two distribution, right? Our one tap, our two tap, our three tap, where the third tap hit the last supply and the last liquidity remaining before that before moving down, which is a typical sign of a model 2, and then you just had the basic confirmation, which is a market structure break back inside that volume area, while also having this amazing return to zone. We can take it from here, but it goes all the way towards this range low. Like all these lows are higher than the previous low, creating a nice trail of liquidity. And I entered on the break, very simple. I put my stop above the high, and I just targeted the low for a 3% gain, right? I don't think I cashed out 3% because I. So what happened is we actually had, yeah, we had some right here. We had some demand right there, and I miscalculated my position size by a bit. So I was risking 1.2. So I cashed out that 0.2 right here. And then if we let it play out, there you go. What really bothered me is that I had my TP at the front run of this low. I had it right below there, and it got front run by like a cent. Like it got front run by such a tiny bit, and I've made this mistake before in the past, and I really need to let it go, but I keep on making it, and it's that I had my take profit that got front run by a hair, and I saw the pullback candle so aggressive, and I actually cashed out like 50% on that upwards candle, knowing it could easily make a lower high for a lower low. I was just scared it was gonna grab all of this liquidity, and then not hit my main take profit. So it's really like I felt some greed, I felt some greed right there, and I actually took profit, and then I still had some remaining for the actual low, but that caused my trade to go from a 3RR towards a 2RR. So that's really, oh, excuse me, that's really that's a mistake because we know the target of a model 2 is the actual range low, right? And it can just wick before it takes it, which is normal. But I still, whenever my take profit gets like front run like that, I'm like, shit, you know. But again, I have noted it down, and we learn from it. Okay. But again, that's when I fear, or when I feel actual like greed, and I'm like, shit, and I start pressing the market button of closing it. Okay. So that's a mistake of mine, but still a nice trade. So instead of the Bitcoin trade, I took the Matic trade, which was the better decision because what actually ended up happening for Bitcoin is that we did go lower and we did sweep that liquidity, boom, and we tapped into and we tapped into that demand, but we never hit the range low target. So if we let it play out, this is where we broke structure back to bullish. This is where we broke structure back to bullish, and this is when you should be exiting that trade from here. Because now you can just easily sweep these highs, potentially come higher for that model one, right? Because on a higher time frame, this can just be one tap. So if you were short, you should have taken a TP right here, and you should have closed the trade right there, okay? Or at least de-risk yourself and put your stop to break even. That's what de-risking means. So we tapped that demand. I'm going to get rid of it because it's very big, and we swept those lows. And let's extend our range. Let's get rid of this one just because we're looking at the bigger time frame now. Also extending the range towards the low like this. There you go. Zooming out. So what happened is we actually went lower and had at 1430 we had some massive volatility, and I didn't have any news event there, but maybe there was. But yeah, we did end up going higher. Um, what actually happened is we swept the high, but we swept it by like a cent. If I really perfect it, there you go. So this high is 62,665 and this is 62,667. So we swept the high by $2. $2, which is nothing. However, it is a sweep of the high. So you can say it's a model one, right? But just because it's and this is where you have your break. So again, this is the typical entry where you enter there, put your stop above the high, and you target the low for a 2.6 R. Also having a break. I think it was a break back inside, almost a break back inside. So um, this is definitely a valid entry. I didn't take it because it was a $2 sweep of the high. But congratulations to anyone that did because it is valid. I was just scared that maybe this was gonna come back up for like a better sweep and then still come lower, still retaining that Model One idea. If you go on a 10-minute and this is just one wick again with a low time frame break, which can happen when you have a sweep this tiny. So definitely be aware of that. But congrats to anyone that took it because it played out. And how I would have managed it is that once you get that retrace and you break lower again, right here, I move my stop from this high towards the new market structure high right there. And then you would already be a bit de-risked, and then I would TP at the range low right there. Amazing trade. I think Big Nasty, shout out to you. He actually took this trade, so I love to see other people taking these Model 1 setups because that should have been a nice 2.6 RR trade. So now what you guys should know is that Model 1 distributions or Model 2 distributions can easily go over into Model 1 accumulations or Model 2 accumulations, depending on what already happened prior, right? So knowing that this is a crucial level, I'm looking for a long because if we want that idea to play out, or this is a Model 1, that's the third tap of this bigger Model 1, tapping and deviating that volume area low right here, we're really at a crucial point. So breaking market structure back to bullish the same way we confirmed a short in here, I would definitely take a long down there. There was just one problem. There was no market structure. We let it play out like this. There was no market structure here on the 1 minute to confirm an entry. You can think, okay, maybe this is 1 minute market structure, but I don't count 2 consecutive bullish candles when the first or the second candle is a inside bar candle, meaning that this candle is within the range of this candle. So the low is lower than this low and the higher is higher than that high. So this candle is inside of the price action of that candle. I don't count those candles as my market structure pool. So I couldn't say like, oh yo, we SFP'd it here and we actually broke it here and then we can enter here, right? I couldn't say that because it's not in my rules. And everything was aligning. Like we had a nice it was a nice 50-minute low, These are just such amazing lows. It was a crucial area. Even using Bollinger Bands, you could have confirmed an entry. We had that massive move down, which is just an imbalance if we come back up. So it should shoot back up, right? Even if you look at volume, there were massive volume spikes in here. Um, so there was every extra type of confluence to take this trade that you could get besides my main confirmation, which is a market structure break. So if I got my market structure break with all these other extra confluences, it's a 2% risk instead of a 1% risk. But I was missing my main confirmation. So the main confirmation wasn't there, but all the extra variables were there. So I was really hesitating if I should take it or not, but I decided to stick to my rules, which is using valid market structure. So also, I did not take this trade, even though it was an absolute beauty. Because what ended up happening is price just shot up, filled that inefficiency. Like, oh my, like, come on now. Amazing V-shaped recovery. Like, an amazing V-shaped recovery. So, I think also Big Nasty also took it long. So, shout out to you. Um, Shout out to you for taking it. Just know that it wasn't valid moment of market structure on the Bitcoin USD Bybit pair. Okay. And how would I manage this? Is I would enter on this break right here. And the moment we had that 1 minute market structure, I stop the entry and then I let it ride. Okay. So beauty, beauty, beauty. And then what happened is after the break, we kind of started the range and we were kind of wicking the high, not really doing anything. And that's when I started looking for my short on Solana. Okay. So deleting this. Boom. So we had a range here that broke out. And it is also actually a market structure break. So we could have at this moment in time, I was thinking, you know what, we have our break, but we had such an aggressive V-shaped recovery, that sell to buy, that we can potentially form a range, maybe go a bit lower before we go higher. And in the meantime, that we were kind of going up in a sideways fashion, like a slow grind up, leaving all of this liquidity below us right here, these ugly lows. I was seeing a potential short on Solana. So on Solana, at the same time that Bitcoin had that slow grind up, look at the time, it was like around 6. Solana was forming around 6 a nice Model 1 distribution, right? So I was thinking that maybe if Bitcoin had a slow pullback or a tiny pullback, Matic could actually have this Model 1 distribution play out. So what happened was we have our Model 2 or Model 1 distribution, or range high first sweep, second sweep, and then right here was our 1 minute market structure low. We wicked it the first time, not confirming a break, and then we broke it right here, but very poorly, which is still no entry for me. And then right here is where we had our good break. And at that moment in time, we also broke back inside the volume area, which is that extra confluence. So on this 1 minute break right here, I opened a short position with my stop below the 1 minute high, knowing that we could get a retrace into this range supply. And it really took forever, but we came up like this. We came up and we actually formed internal market structure. But I just kept my stop above that high. And then when I got an alert that the low was breaking right here, I moved my stop from this high towards that high, recalculated my position size, still risking 1% if I put my stop above that high. So adding right here, putting my stop above there, and then taking it towards the low right here for a 1 TP type of setup, which ended up netting me a bit more than 2% actually. So I took out 80% on the low just because I was thinking maybe we can come down to here. Um, and I trailed my stop loss above this high, but it was above this supply actually, right here. So I um I put my stop above here the moment I hit my TP, knowing we could get like a fake break, hitting that supply and then go lower, which we ended up doing, but then we kind of accumulated from here and went higher, right? And at the same time, Bitcoin was not really bearish at all. So there was no real reason for Solana to potentially dump all the way down. I was just, risking the. I was feeling juicy. So if you really recap it, I shorted a Model 1 distribution with a break back inside. I shorted a Model 2 distribution with a break back inside. Bitcoin had a Model 1 that went over into a bigger Model 1, which went over into a Model 1 accumulation. And then Euro is still in massive profits, longing a 1 minute break for a potential Model 2. So they're kind of all the same setups. They're all Wyckoff related, And I made like 2% on Matic, then 2+% on Solana, which equals 4, and then 4% on Euro, right? And then I'm gonna decide if I can hold that or potentially have to close it before the news. So that 4% is unrealized, which I also told on Twitter. But again, they're all the same setups, and if we count the unrealized profits for now, it's 8%, guys. And it could have been more if I did ended up taking this one, which would have put me on like 10+%. 10+% in one day, guys. My weekly goal is 10+%, right? Once I hit that 10% mark, I'm kind of taking it easy, only waiting for the high probability setups. Which in my opinion, these are all high probability setups, but I'm just taking it easy, And we get it in one day, on a Monday. So I really wanna um I really want to emphasize on the fact that sometimes there are trades or there are days where there are zero trades, You watch for your confirmations, you watch for your entry models that you created with the confirmations, and there are just no trades, which is totally fine because days like these appear every once in a while where you have a model 1 here turning into a bigger model 1 after finishing a model 2 turning into a bigger model 1 accumulation, and having it on Matic and on Solana as well, while Euro giving you the Model 2 confirmation. And all of a sudden there's Wyckoff everywhere, and these days appear. So just be patient and stick to your rules. And it's fine if you don't have a trade every single day because there are days where you can catch that 10%. You just have to show up every day and wait for it, But I don't see anyone trading Wyckoff the way we do it. So yeah, none of these ICT concepts. Maybe they look alike, but I don't see them talk about Wyckoff at all. But I today was such a good day, guys. Like my heart is still pounding from that pre, but we went over everything that was necessary. Let's delete this. Let's see where Matic is at the moment. Oh, damn. Oh yeah, I went up with Bitcoin and then it came crashing down. What's Bitcoin doing there? What's gold doing? Two POIs. So there are also trades or days like these on gold, where you have your two POIs that work like perfectly, but there's just no entry on it, which is totally fine, But yeah, I'm gonna not yap for too long. I'm gonna make a meal and then head to bed. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday when I will have my mic. I promise. Okay, see you guys. Peace.